Hi, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Crypto Niche channel. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Today's topic is what is Bitcoin and blockchain technology. So let's get into it. All right, here we go. So blockchain is the software that manages the transfer and custody of Bitcoin, the currency, the same type of system that financial institutions utilize. So software that manages the transfer and custody of Bitcoin, the currency, okay? Important point. Just like with financial institutions, they utilize it to do the transfer and custody of cash or legal tender, what the government tells us is valuable, and that's legal tender. And in this case, it's cryptocurrency, and it's what we say is valuable, we the people. So it's different from financial institutions because it's decentralized. So with financial institutions, they have a brick and mortar place with a computer inside of it, and in that computer, behind those walls, is where the database is and all of our information in terms of how much money we have and in what type of assets. Whereas the blockchain is decentralized, and meaning there is no brick and mortar. It is basically stored on all of our computers all around the world. And yeah, so not one computer, but many. Blockchain, continuing on here, it provides a means for peer-to-peer transactions, person to person, to transfer their Bitcoin to one another, regardless of geographic location or socioeconomic status, in a matter of minutes, not days. So, for example, if you want to transfer money, say from here in Canada to somewhere in, say, India or Pakistan or Europe or wherever, you probably have to go to your bank and do a wire transfer, which then there's fees, high fees. There's still fees within the blockchain network, but they're higher with banks. And so, for example, Western Union, you utilize Western Union to transfer money. It costs you money, and then it takes a certain amount of time, and there's verification processes and everything. Well, this eliminates all those time delays, and it's essentially allowing anyone, anywhere, to be their own bank. That's because you store your store of value, which in this case would be Bitcoin, on what's called a wallet. I'm not going to talk about wallets today, but you can learn about that elsewhere on another video I might do. In any case, blockchain, in terms of accounting, utilizing accounting terms, it's a digital ledger that records users' Bitcoin balances and with debits and credits. So deposits and withdrawals, debits and credits, utilizing a database that consists of mining computers all around the world. So digital ledgers are not stored on one database, as with financial institutions, but rather the database consists of all the computers in the world that are supporting the blockchain via what is called mining. Today, it's big business to construct data mining warehouses to mine for Bitcoin. Thousands upon thousands of computers are in these warehouses. So you and I could use our computer to try and mine Bitcoin. It would have to be a pretty powerful Bitcoin computer these days, but we'd be one of the many computers if we did do that with our own computer. But there are warehouses out there that do store the information on their computers in warehouses, and thousands upon thousands of computers. So here's a little picture, I guess, of how it would work. So you have a database. Hi Z, Daddy's recording. Give me 1 second, okay? Or Papa's recording that. In any case, computer number 1, which could be in any country. Computer number 2, which could be in any country. 3, 4, etc., etc. What happens is you send out the confirmation that you want to transfer your Bitcoin to another person, and all the computers, the circles being computers, together coordinate and confirm your transaction, and then basically those are the ledgers. It's all recorded on those computers as to what's taken place and stored on many computers, not just one. Now, in terms of blockchain and cryptography, well, cryptography is the science of secure communication. Every transaction on the blockchain must be cryptographically verified. This ensures that people sending Bitcoin actually own the Bitcoin. Transactions are essentially bundled together and added to the blockchain of blocks that are chained together. And so here's another picture of what it would look like in terms of cryptography. So what you want to do is you want to think of it as zeros and ones. So if you look here, this here square right here, in these zeros and ones is the cryptography that's taking place for all the transactions, right? So that's all basically how computer software and stuff runs with the zeros and ones. So here's a ton of transactions happening right here, and this is what's called a block. And then there's the chain, which is right here, which links the blocks together. Again, it's all cryptography. So as you can see, transactions taking place within the block, and then there's a chain that closes up this block essentially and writes it down. Then there's another block, and they cannot be deleted without consensus of all mining computers, the database. So like we showed you back here, without the consensus of all these computers, this here cannot be changed. Okay, so together the block and the chain is blockchain, hence the term blockchain. So this goes on and continues on, right? So a block is made, it's chained, a block is made, it's chained, this block is made, it's changed, and none of these blocks can be erased or deleted. Okay? So that's how the computers, basically, of the world are confirming all the transactions that are taking place, and then writing them down so that they cannot be changed. Now, on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, this is the reward for miners. So the computers that are out there mining, yours, mine, everyone's, for adding blocks to the blockchain. So the reward for miners for adding blocks to the blockchain is Bitcoin. Okay? So if we go back to this slide, this here portion right here, this chain, this is what people are rewarded for, our computers, right? Us. This is what we are rewarded for. So we take this block and we link it to this block. At the same time, we're also helping process all these transactions in here, okay? So all of our computers are working 24/7, confirming transactions and writing all this stuff in here. But the reward that the miners get is for this right here, this chain. So basically closing off this block and linking a new block with the chain. Okay, so now you gotta remember, blocks are bundled transactions, hundreds, thousands, etc. of people moving Bitcoin, and then they're bundled together into the block, okay? Right here. So here's the block, here's all the transactions, and they're all bundled together into this block. Okay? When a computer is successful at adding a chain to the block, it gets Bitcoin as the reward. The current block reward is 12.5 Bitcoin. So that's with the current value of Bitcoin currently at 12,000 or so US, 16,000 or so Canadian. That's what people are mining for right now. They're mining for this here chain portion in order to get 12.5 Bitcoin. So all this takes place based on the coding of the software, which is programmed to issue the rewards. I'm not going to talk about it, but you want to look at what is also called the white paper. It's not covered here. So based on the coding, it says, okay, whoever does the chain, whoever gets the chain reward gets 12.5 Bitcoin. And it's all programmed to only issue so many Bitcoin at certain amounts of times and give rewards at certain amounts of times, a whole bunch of stuff in order to make, scarcity in a sense. So there's a limit on how many Bitcoin that will ever be mined, which I think is 21 million that will be mined total in the world ever. And then it also says, how often and when the rewards will be given. So the competition for financial reward of 12.5 Bitcoin is what keeps the blockchain secure. If anyone or any entity tried to change or erase the previous blockchains, they would have to convince all the computers worldwide to agree on the change. Another reason why it's so highly secured. So, if one computer tried to change any of these blocks, like go back, somehow breaking these chains, I guess, and changing any of this, well, based on all the computers working in the world together to confirm on a consensus, to get consensus on the change, well, if this guy was the bad guy, you'd try to change it, and everybody would see it and say, no, that's not happening, basically. Okay. So if it's not clear, we the people are the database. We put money, time, and effort into supporting the blockchain. Hence, this is where the value of the Bitcoin comes from. We are pumping millions of dollars into computer hardware, developers, electricity, etc. And this value is then psychologically transferred to Bitcoin, the currency. So the value or the price of Bitcoin also comes from store of value and utility. That's another topic also, but basically it's us, saying what it's worth. If the more it catches on, the more utilization it gets, the more valuable it's going to get. So now I say psychologically because Bitcoin is a digital currency that has no physical element. It's a universally shared representation of value. It has no physical manifestation. And also has no top-down approach. For example, like banks and government, right? Messing with it and controlling its value and stuff like that. So, final thoughts. We the people are the ones that are saying what has value and utility to us. We the people are the ones pumping our time and effort into supporting it. It's probably one of the largest social movements in mankind's history. Why? Because in days of old, we would barter our products and services with each other freely without a third party knowing or telling us what the value is to us or whatever it is we were exchanging, So if we were exchanging something back in the olden days without money or legal tender, we'd basically put a value on it based on what we thought its value was. And that's the similar concept as to what's happening here. So we're saying, you know what? This is valuable to us as people of the world, and not just one country, but the world. And so therefore, it has value. It has utility, uses. So different times, different means. And that's it for today. And as per usual, show some love, like the video, subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Crypto Niche. Peace out.